I'm going to make a drawing of a minimalistic face. So I downloaded this image from Pixabay, I think, and before I printed it, I made it sort of cut out so I can focus on the things that I want to do more. And I start with the eye. I draw very loosely, so I do not delineate beforehand. I just start adding hatchings and scribbles to get that eye there. And I'm using ballpoint on a very smooth kind of paper. This is color copy paper actually, and sometimes I like to draw on that too, so that's fun to work on. And I like how the ballpoint glides over the paper. And yeah, I'm trying to get the tear duct there and adjusting the camera a little bit. I usually print out these photographs. One can use a phone or something to watch source photographs, but I prefer to have it in a printed form. Very simple. I like the simplicity of this way of working. And I'm working a little bit on the tonal values now, but it's a very minimalistic drawing, so I only work on tonal values directly in relation to the eye. So I'm not really working on the tonal values of the face or something. Some accentuations here and there. So it's really, as one goes along, one looks at certain things in such a drawing to do. The eyebrow a little bit here and there. And it's important to think of the highlight and the light of the iris in the eye. You saw me measuring a little bit, going from one eye to the other, so I'm watching that the eye is a little bit lower than the first eye, and also you saw me measuring the space between the eyes. So usually when I draw the other eye, the second eye, I think of the fact that more or less an eye should be, should fit in between the two eyes, so that's roughly how far these eyes have to be apart from each other. And one has to look carefully at the source photograph anyway, but that's a little, it can help to think about that. And it goes quite quickly now, that second eye. This is a very quick drawing, so I'm sketching very loosely here. And you saw me make a certain diagonal. I didn't draw it, but you see me measuring the diagonal from the right side of the eye and to the right side of the nose, and then from the left side of the eye to the right side of the nose, measuring where it should be on the paper. So that's usually a quick way to determine where the nose should be, more or less. Adding some points and dots and a little bit of hatching there. Between the nose and the eye here, I add a little bit of shadow for the skin, but not much. and here between the eyebrow and the eye. So the shadows for the skin are very limited. It's directly attached to certain features that I draw, but I'm not really defining the cheeks with shadows and so on. Not really. And drawing the nose, and certain parts are accentuated and other parts are drawn with some hatchings or suggested. Going from one detail to the other. So first one draws the right eye, then the left eye, then the nose, and then I go from one part to the other to adjust certain things, because when you have all three of them, you can see them in each other's context, which is also convenient and gives an extra dimension to it. And then I'm measuring again where I should put the right corner of the mouth. I look at the eyes and I look to the position relative to the pupil or the iris of the eye, where the corners of the mouth should be, and now I'm putting some hatchings there, to putting them down to suggest some shadow of the mouth. And I made this mouth, I think, very quickly. So it's very sketchy, this. It's a very loosely made drawing. Here's some hatchings. Cross hatching. I add lines in the opposite direction to give some extra dark tonal value. That's cross hatching. And now you see the expression of the face. And the question is, when do you stop? I could have stopped here as well, but I'm still drawing a bit, but not much anymore, I think. Here I'm adding some accentuations here and there. And one has to be careful not to overdo it in this face. Well, should I leave it alone? What about that mouth? Maybe the mouth, yeah. I'm looking at this a few days after, or a week after I made this, and I tend to say to myself, oh, stop now, please. Don't do anything anymore. And I didn't. So, it's okay. There it is. Thank you very much for your attention, and please subscribe. Thank you.